probably called attention deficit disorder. And the teachers didn't know what to do with me, and they thought, oh, gee whiz, he's not going to amount much. We're going to focus on these others. So I didn't get the compliment in the educational system. But imagine what our world would be like if we had big vision and we translated that to our youth today. What I mean by this is that the size of your vision determines the size of your outcome. I mean, it sounds like an obvious thing, right? Seems just like, duh, that's something we all probably know intrinsically. But is it something that we really believe in? I have a big vision, and my vision is getting bigger and bigger every day, even though I'm getting older. So I'm 63 years old, and I'm exercising, I'm working out. I kind of got off track, but I was telling Lauren a few minutes ago that I'm rededicated. I want to be healthier, I want to be stronger, I want to be able to lift more weights when I'm 73 than when I'm 63. That's my vision. It's big, but I believe in that vision. The size of your vision determines the size of your outcome. If you have a small vision and it's mediocre results, chances are you're going to achieve that. But if you set a big vision and you go after it, you're unstoppable. To achieve big goals, you also must become a bigger and better version of yourself. One thing that happens when you step into a leadership role, maybe in Toastmasters, or you go after a big goal at work, or you start to establish a new business, what you'll discover is that I'm going to need to be different. I'm going to need to behave different, think differently, operate differently when I meet with people. I may have to do speeches. I might have to join Toastmasters and be better at a lot of activities. You become a bigger and better version of yourself. You're not just accomplishing goals. You're becoming a better human being. And I believe that's essential because your business or your project is only limited by you as a leader. Your business won't exceed your potential or won't exceed your ability to grow. Your business will top out or your project will top out. You are putting limits on the things that you do by how you function as a leader. You are the greatest asset or the greatest limitation to your vision. Warren Bennis was a famous change corporate person from Harvard. He said that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. That's one thing great leaders can do. They can conceive an idea and they can build it. They can take something out of nothing. They can see the impossible and they can grow it into something. That's a person that leads people. That's a person that gets followers. I remember when I started a position, I had no resources, no assistance. They were paying me $25 an hour. It was during the recession. They threw me into this ministry position, and they said, create something from scratch. Well, within about 3 years, I had about 90 volunteers. I had 4 ministries, and then I was starting in the estate planning ministry. And then they thought, we need to pay this guy a little bit more. But my vision was big, and it wasn't limited by my income. And when I looked behind me, people were following me. I wasn't a great leader, but I had vision, and I had purpose, and I knew where I was going, and I was accomplishing things. And when that happens, people follow. A leader with a big vision derived from their core. They lead with strategy too. So it isn't just having a vision, but it has to be a vision that comes from the core. And it has to be something that you establish a strategy to accomplish. And we'll talk about those things in a moment. Here's something that might seem uncouth to some people, but I'm going to make a bold statement today. Mission statements are seldom a guiding light for any organization, and they should be thrown into the rubbish. They should be replaced with vision and strategy. When was the last time you looked at your company's mission statement and that inspired you or that helped lead you to a hire or to accomplish something new? It's rare. It's so 1980s. I think it's time to get rid of the mission statement. Now, there's a few exceptions out there. Bombo Socks has a pretty good mission statement, and it's simple, but it's more vision and it's more strategy. But let's get rid of the mission statement. It's time for that to die. Let's talk about vision statement. So when I work with clients in a coaching role, often the first thing they do when we start working on vision, in fact, it happened this week. I have a client, we're working on their vision, and he came in and he was so excited to show me his vision statement. It was all about how he was going to do what he wanted to accomplish. I said, I'm sorry, it's not a vision. That's the how. Your vision is not how you're going to accomplish a task. That's what our brains automatically do. It's one of the biggest mistakes that corporations make, is they jump too quickly to solution without first understanding other aspects. And it's also not the why. Simon Sinek has written this great book about starting with the why. But I don't think that is where you start. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So what is the hierarchy of setting visions and setting goals and accomplishing big things? I think it's a simplified process. It doesn't need to be complicated. You start with what you want. What is it intrinsically that you want? It's not the why. It's not the how. It's just what you want at your core. And we'll expand on that again in a moment, I promise. Also, after you establish what it is that you want, then you come up with that vision statement. And it has to be big. It has to be bold. It has to be something that stretches you. After you develop that vision and you work through that statement, you come up with a strategy. What is a strategy? Those are the things that you're going to do to accomplish your vision. I need to have this in my business, or I need to have this in my life. I want to start an exercise program. Boop, I have a strategy. I have to do this amount of workouts a day, etc. My vision is to complete a triathlon or an Olympic triathlon. That was a big goal of mine, and I changed my diet. I changed everything that I was doing because I had that vision of completing that 3-part race. And then after you establish the strategy, which is the kind of the how, then you develop daily activities. What am I going to do every day to accomplish that big vision? And I challenge you, it's probably only about 3 activities a day. I mentioned this prior in another speech. 3 activities a day, 5 days a week, 48 weeks a year, giving you 4 weeks off for vacation, holidays. That's over 700 activities that will help you accomplish your strategy, which will lead to your vision. So let's talk about the want for a minute. That's where the engine of vision is derived from. And so I think the want is where you discover what drives you, what's important to you, what are your values. For some of you, it might be a calling. You know, I've just had this calling. I've just always felt compelled to go in a certain direction. I love the term flow state. When I'm writing my book that I'm working on, that it might be 7 or 8 o'clock and I can't stop. My wife has to interrupt me for dinner. When I'm doing some things that are in my flow state that I enjoy doing, and it just connects with all the aspects that I'm really good at, there's a clue there. Also, I believe that every person on this planet, all 8 billion people, have an inner genius, something that you're just amazing at. There's some things that you can do that are kind of magic. I'm obviously going to go over my time here.
Well, I just picked a spot. So
yeah, that's great. But there's an inner genius in each person. That takes some time to discover that. Also, it's helpful to look at your journey and your experience, some of the things that you're working on already. There may be some clues in your want there. Also, this is quite interesting. What is it that you love to do? Or what is it that you hate to do? If there's some things you just don't like doing, like for me, I used to garden a lot and take care of the grass and all that. I've decided I hate doing that. I don't want to do that ever again. So I have someone that does that for me now. One of the happiest days of my life, besides getting married and having children, was getting rid of my lawnmower. I don't do that anymore. Personality tests. We all do these personality tests. There's these DISC analysis. Those are helpful tools, but they don't always help you understand your want. But they will help you understand you. So those are really good things that you can do to help you understand your want. So let's talk about what a vision statement might look like. First of all, the vision statement needs to be big. The size of your vision determines the size of your outcome. We talked a few moments ago. And it needs to be simply short, 40 characters or less, which for some of you, that means 45, right? You can't keep it under 40. And it's okay if it goes to 50. Don't freak out. It needs to be something that you can recall. It's inspiring. If it's too complex or forgettable, if you can't memorize it, then it's not a vision. It's a mess. So scrap it and start over. It has to be something that you own and drives you forward. It needs to have time. It needs to be time-bound. What does that mean? It can't be a 30-year goal. It needs to be a 1 or 5-year goal, maybe 3 years. 7 at the most, if it's big, audacious goal, like Jim Collins talked about in Good to Great. Needs to inspire you. And what I mean by inspire you, it excites you. You get up in the morning, and it's like, I'm working on this exciting goal. When I wake up in the morning, I'm excited more now than ever because I keep making my goals bigger. It excites me. I'm not dreading the day and the activities. I'm excited for each day and the things that I'm accomplishing. Again, I mentioned it needs to be stretching. It can't be too big. A lot of people think, well, if I set this big goal, then how am I going to do that? You don't think about the how when you set the goal. That's a limiting thought. So Amazon has a good mission statement or vision statement. The Earth's most customer-centric company where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online. A shipping company might be to establish a logistics company as the largest national logistics and supply chain management company west of the Mississippi. A vision doesn't have to be limited to your business, doesn't have to be limited to your career. It could have something to do with your responsibilities. You're assuming a new role in Toastmasters, or you're getting on your HOA board. Could have something to do with your roles in life. I'm still inspired by what Chris talked about a few years ago in one of his speeches. He wanted to be the best dad ever, and he put together a plan. He had this big vision. He should have a shirt that says the best dad ever because it inspires me. It can be some of our roles. It can be a vision that's around your faith, a way you want to grow in your faith. Of course, it can be around your career, your vocation, or maybe your hobbies. It needs to be big, inspirational, and I think it's also helpful to mention who is that you're serving. What are the things that you're accomplishing? And it needs to be measurable. When you have a vision, and when it's strong, and when it's exciting, and when it's around something that you love, when it comes from your core, from your want, this is what it feels like. It feels like the ideal day. You awake with excitement, happiness, and purpose in the morning. You have a plan for the day, tasks for your vision from that strategy. You're executing it. You're working from your core flow state. And you celebrate the wins when you accomplish them, those 3 wins that you accomplish every day. That, to me, is an ideal day. When I live that day, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling accomplished. A lot of people think at the end of the day, I didn't do these 100 other tasks. I'm a failure. I didn't do all these things. Forget that. That's bad thinking. There's a new way to look at your day and to make it an ideal day around your vision and the things that you want to accomplish in life. So I challenge you today, if this prompted any thinking in your head, in your mind, if there's something that you want to accomplish that you've put off, irrespective of your age or your ability or the how, come up with a big vision after looking internally at your want and set a big goal. You will accomplish it. I know that you can. It just takes hard work and a big vision. Thank you.